the acting COAS, adding that such appointment doesn't exist in the military. Also on Sunday, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said that the recent attack on its image by Senator Oyelola Ashiru from Kwara South was born out of vendetta rather than based on any altruistic motive or national interest. The agency stated this at its national headquarters during a press briefing in Abuja, where it addressed an allegation by Senator Ashiru that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is corrupt and compromised, while acknowledging the great work of the Senate towards the upliftment of Nigerians and Nigerians, especially the support for the ongoing concerted effort towards the amendment of the NDLEA Act. The agency, however, NDLEA said it is duty-bound to respond to the unprovoked attack against it by the senator during his contribution to the debate on behalf on the new bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitations on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. In the meantime, International Transport Workers Federation on Sunday lauded Nigerians on its achievement of a global compliance score of 75.5% under the International Civil Aviation Organization Cape Town Convention. In a Sunday statement, Tunde Moshood, the Special Advisor on Media and Communication to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, said the congratulation was contained in a mail sent to his principal at the closing sections of 46 ITF Congress. He said the forum lauded Keyamo for his commitment to helping Nigeria make the feat happen. The ITF Congress is a prominent global gathering of transportation workers and stakeholders addressing critical issues of facing the transport industry worldwide. Nigerian high compliance score under the Cape Town Convention is a testament to the country's growing prominence and commitment to international aviation standards. Still on Sunday, Honorable Abike Dabirewa, CEO Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, called for more strategic collaborations and engagement between the federal government of Nigeria and its citizens, both at home and in diaspora, for national development. Dabirewa made the appeal while delivering the 12th diaspora can be leveraged as a catalyst for national development, which is achieved under the mandate set up by NIDCOM to actualize. The NIDCOM boss encouraged Nigerians abroad to work with Nigerians at home, as some of the very best migrants in the world make a difference, just as India, China, and Singapore tapped into their diaspora skills and talent for national development. With a vintage position, ABUAD had attained as the best private university in Nigeria and beyond. She said that the university can collaborate by implementing staff and student exchange programs through collaborative research that address global challenges and sabbaticals to Nigerian diaspora lecturers. Apparently impressed by the world standard facilities at ABUAD, she commended Are Afe Babalala San for his commitment to the advancements of education and other areas of human development in Nigeria, saying that the university has added positive impact to the country and the world after visiting some of the facilities on campus. Tertiary Education Trust Fund on Sunday called on local government area councils to make strategic investment in tertiary education in Nigeria. The Executive Secretary of the TED Fund, Acteg Sono Chuno, made the call after receiving an award of excellence at a 3-day annual summit organized by the Association of Chairmen of Local Government Service Commissions in Nigeria. Chuno expressed appreciation to the association for honoring him with the award. Thanks President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for restoring autonomy to local government, reaffirming TED Fund continued support for tertiary education. In his remark, the chairman, Association of Local Government Service Commission and Nigeria, Kemi Ayende Bayawa, commended the Executive Secretary for his tireless effort in upgrading tertiary education while expressing hope that the award will inspire him to achieve more. And on last story around the headlines of our stories that made the headlines for last Sunday. As we look at stories that made the headlines for Monday. Federal government on Monday officially approved Steplet's energy purchase of ExxonMobil's onshore asset, valued at $1.28 billion. The approval was confirmed by the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, on Monday. Komolafe, while speaking at the NUPRC stored annual event in Abuja, said that the mainstream approval has now been secured. The approval comes more than 2 years after the deal was announced in February 2022, signaling a prolonged regulatory delay. President Bola Tinubu had indicated on October 1st that the final approval will be granted within days, following clearance from the regulatory body. Steplet Energy will acquire a 40% stake in 4 oil mining leases as a result of the approval. The company will also get key infrastructure, including Kwa Ibu Experts Terminals, and 51% stake in the Bonny Rivers Natural Gas Liquids Recovery Plant, both previously owned by Exxon's local subsidiary, Mobile Producing Nigerian Unlimited. Federal government also on Monday said it would not entertain the balkanizations of any part of the country. He also explained that there will be no room for secessions, as Nigerians living together is an obligation, not optional. Certain groups has been campaigning to be allowed to exit the Nigerian Union, brought together under the separate Southern and Northern Protectorates by Lord Lugard in 1914. Minister of Defense Mohammed Abubakar reaffirmed the indivisibility of the country at a weekend during the peace meeting in Plateau State. Still on stories that made the headlines for Monday, a federal government panel constituted to probe bribery allegations regarding controversial crossdresser Idris Okuneye, well known as Bobrisky, said the social media sensation served his 6-month jail term in prison, but enjoyed several privileges. A member of the panel, Drew Agomo, who read the initial report of the probe at the Ministry of Interior on Monday, said the panel did not find any evidence, those of files that suggested that Mr. Okuneye slept outside the custodial centers during the period of his imprisonment, which was from the 12th of April 2024 to the 5th of August 2024, which is a 6-month correctional sentence with the usual remissions applicable. Agomo said during this period, Bobrisky was moved from Kuje Custodial Center to the Medium Security Custodial Center in Kirikiri, Apapa, Lagos, and then to the Maximum Security Custodial Center, from where the crossdresser was discharged after completion of a sentence. The panel said the crossdresser's transfer to a maximum security facility as a first offender violated Section 16(4)A and Section 16(4)B of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act of 2019. United Kingdom government, in collaboration with the United Nations Mine Action Service, on Monday provided explosive ordnance risk education training on 75 officers from the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The inaugural training held in Medjugorje concluded on the 4th of October 2024. The Senior Communications and Public Diplomacy Officer at the British High Commission Abuja, Atinuke Akinde Agiba, disclosed this in a statement released on Monday. The program aimed to equip NPF and NSCDC officers with the necessary skills to educate at-risk communities about the dangers of unexploded ordnance, thereby reducing the risk of casualties. The trained officers will now be deployed to valuable areas to share life-saving knowledge with residents. Speaking at the closing ceremony, John Sanderman, the Human Security Advisor at the British High Commission, underscored the significance of the training. NSCDC's Commandant Abdulkadir Sului highlighted the training's benefits, stating that acquiring hero will not only enhance the effectiveness of NSCDC personnel in helping communities affected by explosive remnant of war to stay safe, but it will also significantly contribute to ensuring the safety of their personnel and families. Commissioner of Police Patrick Ateyero announced that the newly established Police Explosive Ordnance Disposal and Criminal Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Training School in Medjugorje has officially commenced operations. With that story and the stories that made the headline for Monday, as we look at stories that made the headlines for Tuesday. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu on Tuesday said the federal government has picked interest in the interrogation of Gulf of Guinea as a major route for arms trafficking into Nigeria. He noted that several reports have revealed that small and light weapons are smuggled through the maritime sector. Ribadu, who was represented by the Director of External Affairs, Office of the National Security Advisor Ibrahim Babagani, spoke at the seminar in Abuja. The NSA emphasized the need for further investigation into the connection between climate change, armed conflict, and the spread of weapons across the Gulf of Guinea countries. Ribadu also stated that the threats in the maritime sector had evolved from looting to kidnapping. Meanwhile, federal government on Tuesday stopped the export of locally produced liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas, to prioritize domestic supply. The measure, announced by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, on Tuesday, is intended to mitigate the soaring price of gas and will take effect from November 1st, 2024. This information was contained in a statement by the spokesman for the minister, Louis Ibe, in Abuja. Ibe stated that the decision was reached after the minister convened a high-level meeting in Abuja with stakeholders to address the skyrocketing prices and the attendant hardship on Nigerians. He directed the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to meet with stakeholders to derive the pricing framework within 90 days. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, also on Tuesday, said Nigerians need to invest about $3 trillion over the next 30 years to bridge the infrastructure gap. He listed the criteria sector of the critical sectors of investment to include road network, power supply, housing, healthcare, and education, amongst others. Speaker Abbas stated this at the flag-off ceremony for the construction of Access Road from Ring 1 Road to George Quarters in Abuja. Represented by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, the Speaker said that the infrastructure deficit in the Federal Capital Territory has become more worrisome owing to the city's annual growth rate of 5%. The Speaker, however, commended President Bola Tinubu for taking significant steps to address the challenges since he assumed power in May 2023 and promised to support government effort and to aid the development of the FCT. The Senate on Tuesday passed for second reading a bill seeking on an act to establish the National Food Reserve Agency. The bill, sponsored by Senator Saliu Mustafa, APC Kwara Central, seeks to further develop the agricultural sector by ensuring national food security and income through marketing, storage services, as well as addressing emergency food crisis. Senator Mustafa, in his lead debate, said the proposed Food Reserve Agency will fulfill the apparent gap in agricultural development and coordinations of programs and projects in the nation or collaboration of national and international agencies. He noted that the objective of the bill was to implement the overall National Food Reserve Policy to ensure reliable supply for designated commodities and meet local shortfalls in the supply of designated commodities in the country. The Senate, accordingly, after passing the bill for second reading, referred it to the Committee on Agriculture for more legislative input and report back within 4 weeks. Away from that, on Tuesday, the House of Representatives resolved to summon the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the Director General of the Department of State Services, Oluwatosin Ajayi, along with the FCT Commissioner of Police, Peter Omara, and other security stakeholders to address worsening security situation in Abuja. The decision followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by Haruna Dabo, the member representing the Toro Federal Constituency of Bauchi South State, during the Tuesday's plenary section. Dabo's motion focused on resurgence of one-chance robberies, which led to the tragic death of his legislative aide Neema Suleiman. Suleiman was adopted by unidentified gunmen on Thursday, October 17, 2024, in Abuja, despite her captors collecting a ransom of 1 million naira. They stabbed her and she later succumbed to her injuries. While presenting his motion, Dabo lamented the increasing rate of kidnapping and robberies in the FCT, noting that both suburban and central areas of the capital city have become unsafe. He expressed concerns over the rising incidence of abductions by one-chance taxi operators, especially in unregistered and unpainted vehicles, which has worsened the security situations. And with the sweet story, we're in the stories that made the headline for Tuesday as we look at stories that made the headline for Wednesday. On Wednesday, the much-awaited cabinet reshuffle of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu began with the sacking of 5 ministers and renomination of 7 new ones for Senate confirmation. The president also reassigned 10 ministers to new ministerial portfolios and appointed 7 new ministers for Senate confirmation. Tinubu nominated Bianca Ojukwu as a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, while Netawe Yewada as a Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, officially bringing an end to the tenure of suspended Betta Edu. The president also nominated Migari Danyadi as the Minister of Labour and Employment, Jumoke Oduwale as the Minister of Industry, Ide Mahi as the Minister for the newly created Livestock Development Ministry, Yusuf Atta as the Minister of State, Housing and Urban Development, with Suhaib Ahmed as the Minister of State Education. The president sacked Uju Ken Ohine as Minister of Women Affairs, Lola Adejon as Minister of Tourism, Tahir Maman as Minister of Education, and Abdullahi Gwazo as Minister of State, Housing and Urban Development, and Jamila Ibrahim as Minister of Youth Development. The president appreciated outgoing members of the Federal Executive Council for their service to the nation while wishing them the best in their future endeavors. He then charged the newly appointed ministers as well as their reassigned colleagues to see their appointment as a core to serve the nation. He added that all appointees must understand the administration's eagerness and determination to set Nigeria on a path to irreversible growth and invest in the best of their abilities to the actualizations of government priorities. Federal government announced plans on Wednesday to reposition dams across the country, revealing that statutory has significantly reduced the water value in the Ukwa dams in Delta State. This was disclosed by the Deputy Director, Divisional Head, Dams Department, Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, Abiola Oluwatosin, during an inspection from the Ogoisi's Ukwa dams in Anyocha South local government area of Delta State. Oluwatosi, who led the technical subcommittee of the Presidential Interministerial Technical Committee on Evaluation of Dams, assured that findings from the assessment will guide the robust actions plans to address the challenges affecting dams infrastructure nationwide. The committee, she explained, include experts from various federal ministries, the Office of National Security Advisor, Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the Council for Regulations of Engineers and Nigerians, and other technical professionals. You're listening to Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away. Did you miss out on the news during the week? Not to worry. Retrospect is here to make up for the missed information. Retrospect is a complete package of all the major news headlines that made the airwaves from Sunday to Saturday. Join me, Esther Nwusu, on the program Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Sunday at 6 p.m. Retrospect. We keep you informed. It's good to know you're still there. It is the Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. And with that break, we'll take a look at Thursday's stories because they are the stories that made up the headline for Thursday. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday reassured the public that the past mistakes, such as neglecting livestock farming and relying on daily import, will be avoided. He pledged a robust framework to stimulate prosperity in the sector, instilling confidence in his commitment. The president, who opened a two-day consultative workshop on livestock refunds on Thursday at the State House Conference Center, pledged government support in revamping and repositioning the sector to create employment and attract foreign direct investment. President Tinubu commended the Presidential Livestock Reform Implementation Committee, led by the co-chairman, Professor Tahiru Jega, and the secretary, Professor Mohammed Yahya Kuta, for their commitment to repositioning livestock sector. President Tinubu also thanked the Nigerian Governors Forum, chaired by Governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, for supporting the reforms of animal farming in the country. Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, assured of 100% buy-in of the subnationals to make the refunds a success because it is not just food security, but national security. Abdulrazak thanked President Tinubu for leading the initiative by chairing the implementation committee, regretting that past effort in the same directions were reduced to files in the ministries of agriculture in states and local councils due to lack of political will. President Bola Tinubu has restricted ministers of state, and heads of agencies of the federal government to a maximum of 3 vehicles in their official convoys. No additional vehicles will be assigned to them for movement. In this directive, President Tinubu also ordered all ministers of state and heads of agencies to have at most 5 security personnel attached to them. The security team will comprise of 4 police officers and 1 Department of State officer. No additional security personnel will be assigned, he ordered. President Tinubu instructed the National Security Advisor to engage with the military, paramilitary, and security agencies to determine a suitable reductions in their vehicle and security personnel deployment. All affected officers are expected to comply with these new measures immediately, underscoring the urgency and seriousness of the changes. 3 persons were confirmed dead in a helicopter crash that occurred in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, on Thursday. The accident occurred at 11:22 a.m. along the waterways in Port Harcourt, where the helicopter SK-76 with registration 5NBQG and operated by East Wind Aviation were en route from Port Harcourt military base to the Namaran oil rig. A total of 8 persons were confirmed on board, as said a spokesman for the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Odutayolu Shei. The aircraft dished into the waters near Benifenama and the Atlantic Oceans. The authorities said in a statement, adding the rescue effort have been activated. The ministry said that the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau and neighboring aerodromes have been notified, adding the search and rescue operations have commenced with the support of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and other relevant agencies. The spate of helicopter crashes with casualties has been a source of worry to aviation and safety experts in the last few years, with stakeholders calling on civil and military aviation authorities to uphold standard operating procedures and tighten regulations. Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru on Thursday ordered troops of Operation Franca Yama to arrest the notorious bandit leader Bello Tourage. The minister gave the order while addressing the troops at 1 brigade headquarters in Guzo, Zamfara State. He added that President Bola Tinubu has the following activities of the troops in the past few months and has seen some level of improvement in the operations against terrorists in the region, but the challenges are still there. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has ordered troops to arrest the notorious bandit leader Bello Tourage with immediate effect. Away from that now, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday, strongly refuted claims of her involvement in facilitating a $57.5 billion for the Biafra Republic government in exile. Opposed by separatist leader Simon Ekpe, shared on October 22, 2024, alleged that the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund had agreed to grant the loan, citing Okonjo-Iweala's assistance in the process. Eba claimed that these funds were meant to support the formations of a new government following a proposed declaration of Biafra independence on December 2nd, 2024. In response, Okonjo-Iweala categorically refuted the claims, calling the statement outrageous and false. She further urged individuals misusing her name to cease such actions immediately. Still on stories that made the headlines for Thursday, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, sealed an eatery, The Place in Huse 2, Abuja on Thursday, due to inadequate good hygiene practices. The agency also confiscated food raw materials suspected to be contaminated with rodent feces and droppings, citing unhygienic packaging. Dr. Kenneth Azikiwe, head of NAFDAC FCT Directorate, stated that the enforcement team acted on chips from customers and an order from Director General Mojisola Adeye. He said that the operations are aimed at promoting public health safety and ensure safe, quality food for Nigerian citizens. Azikiwe emphasized that NAFDAC's mandate includes supervising manufacturing, distributions, and adherence to regulation. You noted that all restaurants must comply with NAFDAC food hygiene regulations, ensuring safe and quality food processing. Azikiwe said that the agency would penalize the eatery according to its regulations with outline penalties for poor hygiene practices. He further encouraged other FCT restaurant operators to obtain NAFDAC food hygiene document and certification, highlighting the agency's ongoing evaluation and potential benefit. He urged restaurant owners in FCT to visit NAFDAC office or website for safety guidelines and information.
We have come here to promote public health safety. My Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeye, has given us a marching order to ensure that only safe, quality food are made available to the citizens of this country. And in doing so, we are doing it in all areas of our mandate, both in supervising manufacturing, distribution, sale and use of regulated product as is being done in this place. This facility is a restaurant, and by restaurant, we are talking about all restaurant facility by whatever name they go by, either a cafe, hotel restaurant, fast food restaurant, quick service restaurant, drive-by restaurant. All restaurants are to abide by the NAFDAC food hygiene. Food is processed for consumption.
And recommend solutions to voters' apathy and engagement in the election. With the team Voters Apathy and Democratic Consolidations in Nigeria, which way forward, focus on understanding the cause and consequences of voters' apathy in Nigeria and the elections management, amongst others. While speaking with newsmen, the Executive Director of the Center for Media Policy and Accountability, Dr. Suleiman A. Suleiman, noted that the initiative of the roundtable by CMPA was to gather stakeholders and experts to look at problems and what solutions are there for active participations in elections by the citizens of the country.
We wanted to bring in all stakeholders and experts in this area to sit down and talk about what the problems are, but most importantly, what solutions are there. And you can see that some of the areas for solutions have been, one, that political parties need to improve in terms of how they campaign. engaging citizens more, not just in rallies and shouting at them, but engaging them in town halls, engaging them in many different creative ways. Also, the electoral system, needs to also respond to the needs of Nigerians. People suffer a lot when they want to vote, so much inconvenience in the process. So one of the issues that have come up is that INEC needs to improve ways in which
stakeholders at the roundtable recommended the need for political parties to change their method of campaigning before elections by engaging citizens more to showcase what they have to offer if voted in. Need for electoral body to make it easier for citizens to vote and an extension of voters' time. And with that story and the stories that made the headline for Thursday, as we look at stories that made the headline for Friday. On Friday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commiserated with the family, friends and associates of Professor Hamsri Nwosu, our former chairman of the National Electoral Commission, who died in a U.S. hospital on 24th of October 2024. Professor Nwosu was chairman of NEC from 1989 to 1993 and oversaw the historic June 12, 1993 presidential election, which General Ibrahim Babangida annulled. Before the ill-fated presidential election, Nwosu's NEC had conducted the governorship and parliamentary elections using an innovative and inexpensive options, A4, in which voters queued behind the paragraph of the photographs of candidates of their choice at polling station. The president fond memories of Nwosu as a bold and courageous administrator. He expressed his deep sorrows at the loss of a patriot and national asset who played a significant role in shaping the democracy that Nigeria enjoys today. President Tinubu affirms that the greatest honor to champions of democracy like Nwosu is to ensure that elections and the country remains credible, transparent and democratic, reflecting the people's right to choose their leaders and shape their future. The president praised God Almighty to grant the soul of the departed political scientist an eternal rest and divine comfort for those who mourn him. Away from that, the Minister of Defense, Badaru Abubakar, on Friday ordered the troops of 17th Brigade Katsina to end the lingering insecurity within Katsina State, saying President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is ready to supply everything needed to eliminate insecurity. The minister gave the order while addressing newsmen at the Katsina-Zamfara State border town, Gabrin Bari, at the Jiba local government area of Katsina State on Friday, while addressing troops at the 17th Brigade. Our correspondent in Katsina State, who was among the 17th Brigade Katsina entourage, reports that the defense minister was in the state to assess and receive briefings on ongoing military onslaught against bandits. Earlier, Abubakar told the troops that President Bola Tinubu was pleased with the progress made by the troops in combating banditry over the past few months. Also on Friday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, urged the new generation of content creators and social media influencers to tone down negative rhetoric about Nigerians and prioritize the nation's interests while holding the highest ethnical standards in expressions and delivery of their craft. Idris made the remarks in Abuja on the occasion of the celebration of National Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2024 with the theme New Digital Frontiers of Information, Media and Information Literacy for Public Interest Information, organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the International Media and Information Literacy Institute, Open University of Nigeria. The minister condemned the prolifications of fake news on social media, warning that if not curbed, it poses an external threat to the unity, peace and development of the country. In the meantime, the Financial Action Task Force on Friday acknowledged Nigerian progress in its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing measures during the recent October plenary meeting held on Friday. This recognition comes as Nigeria has newly fulfilled half of the criteria outlined on its action plan aimed at existing the notorious grey, at least that has shadowed its financial reputation since February 2023. Existing the grey list will ease diaspora remittance by making it cheaper for Nigerians outside the country to send money back home, amongst others benefit. The FATF, the International Watchdog for Financial Crime, has approved Nigerians' fourth progress report since it was placed under increased monitoring due to identified deficiencies in its AML CFT system. This status has historically impacted the nation's global financial interactions, making it essential for Nigerians to address these challenges effectively and expeditiously. This development marks a watershed moment in Nigerians' commitment to align with global standards and as delineated by the FATF, particularly in light of the critical observation raised in the country's 2021 AML CFT Mutual Evaluation Report. Mrs. Hafsat Abubakar Bakari, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, expressed pride in Nigerians' accomplishment while attending the plenary in Paris. And with that, we end the stories that made the headlines for Friday. As we finally look at stories that made the headline for Saturday. On Saturday, the federal government introduced a 50% tax relief for companies that increase salaries or offers transportation allowance to low-income workers as part of a new legislative bill designed to reform Nigeria's tax system. A review of the bill indicated that it aims to introduce certain income tax exceptions to incentive salary adjustment. According to sections of the bill, companies will be allowed an additional 50% deductions in their relevant years of assessment for costs incurred during the 2023 and 2024 calendar years. The qualifying expenses include wages increase, transportation subsidies, or transport allowance granted to workers whose gross monthly earnings are brought up to 100,000 naira or less. The provision, however, stipulates that any additional salary increases granted to employers earning above 100,000 naira monthly would not be eligible for tax deductions. Also, firms that hire new employers resulting in a net increase in their workforce between 2023 and 2024 will qualify for deduction, provided the new employees remain employed for at least 3 years and not involuntarily disengaged. Federal government on Saturday reaffirmed its commitment to addressing the growing challenges of non-communicable disease through comprehensive measures. As part of its efforts, external regulatory bodies were invited to evaluate the government's progress and policies, aiming to gather valuable insights and implement actionable recommendations to enhance the effectiveness of its strategies in tackling NCDs. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Tunji Alawasa, emphasized this during a debriefing of sections with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the World Health Organization, and the International Agency for Research in Cancer. The Visiting Impact Review Mission team conducted a countrywide assessment of government efforts to combat NCDs. He further underscores the government's commitment to using expert feedback to reaffirm healthcare strategies backed by strong political will and prioritizations of healthcare under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. While acknowledging the pressing challenges in Nigeria's cancer care system, particularly the limited availability of critical diagnostics and treatment infrastructure, the minister stressed that the government cannot afford to be anything but proactive in addressing these issues. Still on Saturday, the 56th Nation Commonwealth announced Ghana's Foreign Minister Shirley Ayoko Batwe as the organization's new Secretary General at the Red Cross summit that concluded in Soma on Saturday. The Voluntary Association of Sovereign States is mostly made up of former British colonials. Batwe was was one of the 3 candidates vying for the post, all who had backed call for Britain to address the legacy of colonizations and slavery. A former lawmaker, she had served as foreign minister for the past 7 years, notably starring Ghana's 2-year tenure on the UN Security Council, ending December 2023. She has backed the drafting of a free trade agreement among Commonwealth member states and has previously said she stands for reparations. And with that story, that's our package for today on Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, on Twitter, now known as X, at Citizen FM 937. You can also check us out on our website on citizenfm.ng. Let's make it a date, same time next week on Retrospect. I am Esther Musu. Bye for now. Did you miss out on the news during the week? Not to worry. A Retrospect is here to make up for the missed information.